Welcome to HB Reddit Stories. Today we will see stories of r/am I the a-hole. Am I the a-hole for telling my sister people did express concerns about her son and stepson before she got married and she didn't listen? My sister has been married for 5 years. She has a 17-year-old son and a 17-year-old stepson in her home. The boys knew each other since kindergarten and they never got along. I remember my sister telling the rest of the family that she was called in and asked if she'd object to her son and the other child being buddied for a few weeks so they could work out their issues. Sister said that was fine. They tried for 7 weeks or something like that. They were seat pals, each other's helper, and were given small jobs to do together to build a better dynamic, and it failed. The whole time they were next to each other it was hell in the class. This dynamic did not let up. The two of them do not like each other. I personally do believe they truly hate each other. Then my sister and her husband started a relationship. Prior to them moving in together and also prior to the wedding, many of us spoke to my sister about what a bad idea it seemed to be because the boys were not capable of getting along. She told us they'll have to once their family and it'll do them some good. I asked her if she really believed that and if she really wanted to live in a house where two members do not want to see the other ever. She told me she loved her husband, then fiancé, too much to end things or hold off on marriage. She also told me she was going to convince her son to give her stepson a chance to be a friend if nothing else. That the kids clash in personality and they have some shared interests so they can work it out. She didn't like when our dad took her aside before the wedding and warned her it would end badly because of the boys. My sister and her husband have a son together now. He's also caught in the middle of both of his half-brothers hating each other. We all became a witness to just how much these two do not want to be near each other. We witnessed fights, glares, all kinds of things. My sister's stepson lost his crap on our great-aunt for calling them brothers. There was an incident a couple of weeks ago. My nephew lost a friend. He'd been sick for a while and sadly passed away just before his 17th birthday. My sister and her husband wanted all 4 of them to attend the funeral, with their son together going to our parents. Her stepson didn't want to go, said he didn't want to support my nephew and he didn't care. He thought it was funny as hell how upset my nephew was. Said he hated the dead kid too. While at the funeral my sister and her husband were sympathizing with the boys' parents and expressed that both nephew and step-nephew said kind things about their son. They told my sister and her husband there was no way step-nephew said kind things about their son and he shouldn't have been there. My sister said it was humiliating to realize other people are so aware of the bad blood. She then said we never warned her and I corrected her and said we did and she didn't listen. She told me we didn't try hard enough and how dare I say we did enough. Am I the a-hole? Top comments. Not the a-hole. I am surprised one of these boys hasn't gone to live with other relatives. Opie replies. It's not that simple to do. Especially when they are with their only involved parent. Not the a-hole. My sister said it was humiliating to realize other people are so aware of the bad blood. She then said we never warned her and I corrected her and said we did and she didn't listen. She told me we didn't try hard enough and how dare I say we did enough. You tried. Then my sister and her husband started a relationship. Prior to them moving in together and also prior to the wedding, many of us spoke to my sister about what a bad idea it seemed to be because the boys were not capable of getting along. She told us they'll have to once their family and it'll do them some good. And you need to remind her of this conversation. She didn't like when our dad took her aside before the wedding and warned her it would end badly because of the boys. And this conversation. Your sister and her husband are flaming a-hole though. Your sister is delusional. The boys have not liked each other since kindergarten. Opie replies. Yep. And in kindergarten the teacher was unsuccessful in helping them get along. Did your sister truly believe that no one outside of the family knew? Also, is your sister always this accountability avoidant? Opie replies. Not usually, but with this she has been 100% each step of the way. Also, she knew the boys' friends knew. There's bad blood there as a result. But the other parents and people outside that, she figured had no idea. Next story. Am I the a-hole for allowing my wife join the guys in my family when the women are cooking? My wife, 25F, and I, 27M, have been married for 6 months and together for 7 years. My wife isn't close to her family, long story, and I had a pretty decent relationship with mine, so when she graduated a year ago and we were ready to settle down, she wanted us to be near my family. They had met and things were okay, so it seemed cool. One thing I should mention is my family are more traditional, the women and men in the extended family mostly. My great-grandma always believed that during family time women do the cooking and men should do their own thing, play outside, watch a game, something. My brothers and I know how to cook only because my dad, who married into the family with the traditional views, was not raised that way and knows how to cook. He was able to get us competent lol. I'm pretty good but not as good as someone who was taught more and earlier. But the traditional views were always weird to me and were not something I believed in ever. It was something I was upfront with my wife about when we were only dating. My wife is an amazing cook. I will sing her praises every chance I get. She makes amazing food. She was super popular with her roommates and later our roommates in college when she'd agree to take on cooking duty. We both cook at home, but I love every night she cooks. The women in my family are jealous of this. Ever since we moved closer, she was expected to join them in the kitchen. Her cooking got compliments from the family. The men didn't always realize it was her and would say they loved the changes made to a dish. As a direct result, the female members of my family were being jerked to my wife and making comments about her not doing enough and being lazy, but then trying to take over. My wife really wanted to be close to them, so she tried so hard. But I hated seeing it and my dad couldn't get through to mom. So I told her she should step out of the kitchen and join us guys. She was hesitant to do so but had fun the first time and she fit right in, and this pissed off the women in the family who told me I should be insisting she join them like she's supposed to. They said I should not allow her to skip cooking duty. I told them I encouraged her to stay with us since they were so unfair to her. I told them we could always skip seeing them if that would make them happier. My wife feels bad. My dad joined me in telling her that the women are just being too hard on her and she doesn't deserve to be treated the way they were treating her. We talked about not attending and I enjoy being with the family less, but she hopes it'll get better. My mom confronted me alone and again told me I was wrong to allow this. I told my mom I love my wife and do not want her mistreated and excluded by my family. She said I'm not doing any favors hiding her from them. I told her they could try being nicer. She said I'm making this a bigger deal than it needs to be. Am I the a-hole? Top comments. Not the a-hole. You're doing the right thing helping her to be comfortable in these situations. It's a no-win thing for her, but at least you and your dad are supporting her. Also, allowing her. You're not her boss or keeper. Good on you for making the effort to make your wife comfortable and refusing to give in to this outdated nonsense. OP replies. I think it will likely reach the point where we just stop being there. I can't see another way around it unless things majorly change. My wife really wants this to work out because she loves the idea of a close family. But the views held in my family can be extremely dated. Like the whole allow thing. Like you said, I'm not my wife's boss and I'm not an authority figure over her. Not the a-hole. My first marriage was into a traditional Polish family. Same thing, all the women are expected to cook, clean, and work full-time, while the men adorn the couches. I moved away from my Western family to marry in the East. It lasted 5 years. Of dealing with the matriarchal arrogance, the nasty remarks, the petty jealousies, the mean-spirited entitlement. Your wife is sweet and kind, I'm glad you are standing up to the female bullies. There is no place in real families for this catty behavior. Hopefully with your dad's help, both you and he can start changing things for the better. OP replies. I wish I could have given my wife the loving and accepting family she didn't get to be a part of as a kid. But hey, we'll do better with the kids we want to have. I also think my dad and brothers will be good for her to be around even if the rest of the family isn't so much. I would love to see a change in the whole dynamic. Not sure it will be something that happens in the near future, but maybe eventually we'll just do our own thing with the family who can be nice and appreciative. I feel so sorry for your wife, but kudos to your dad and the other men in your family for being okay with this change, and to you nonetheless. I applaud you. Perhaps it's time to add some changes into the family? Forgive me for finding the arrangement of this a tad old-fashioned. Your wife honestly sounds like a breath of fresh air in this situation. Opie replies. My dad, brothers, and I all do. But we could never make the change. The only change that might come is less of us there. Because it's seen as what we do, and the right way. Next story. Am I the a-hole for posting about my gift, maternity box, on social media when my stepsister never got one for her son? I recently had my first child. When we were discharged, the hospital sent us home with a baby box. It was a cute little box that can double as a bed and came with a mattress, some baby clothes and other essentials. This caught me off guard because I live in the US. I thought this was only a thing in Finland. Turns out, the county I live in works with a charity that provides these boxes for all expecting moms. I was pretty stoked about this, so I made a post on Instagram showing it off. My stepmom messaged me and told me I should take down the post a few days later. She said it was in bad taste because a lot of new moms don't get this perk. She pointed out that her daughter, my stepsister, has been very upset by this. My stepsister did reach out, but her response was something like, "Wow, I had my son, all the hospital sent me was some maxi pads and a bill." Angry face emoji. I didn't down the post because I want to highlight the work that charity was doing. Especially for women in my area who may not be aware of the baby boxes and could really need it. My stepsister sent me a DM telling me to take the post down. She said it's unfair she has to struggle with a special needs baby while the other moms can gloat about how being a new mom is awesome. She said that she never got a free box or clothes or perfume like my cousin and everyone stopped caring when she had her son while me, my cousin and all our other relatives, get all the attention. Right now, I'm leaning towards keeping the post up. I don't live in the same state as my stepfamily but am aware of social programs designed to help parents with special needs kids. That or my stepsister get help or get counseling. But maybe that's not the best move. Am I the a-hole? I just need an outside opinion because the lack of sleep is affecting my judgment making. Top comments. Not the a-hole and leave the post up. If your kid walks sooner than hers, are you allowed to share the information? If your kid turns out to be really good at math but hers isn't, does that mean you can't celebrate them? Each child deserves to be treated as their own person and celebrated. Each parent as well. Look. I understand jealousy. I dealt with infertility and was fortunate that IVF worked for us. But, that was a hard path. The year I got pregnant so did 2 other women and 1 man's wife. In an office of 9 people. I got to hear every day about people's gender reveals, about how the man and his wife got pregnant the first month they tried, teeth, finding the perfect nursery furniture etc. But I ended up high risk, on 5 weeks of bed rest and bled for 20 weeks throughout my pregnancy. I didn't dare do any of the things. I didn't trust that I was going to make it in the end. He's 8 now. Was I jealous? Yes. Did I want their experiences? Yes. Of course. I wanted the carefree excitement. But, what I didn't do, was rain on their parade, or demand they not talk around me. You deserve to experience and enjoy each thing that happens to you. Just as she does. And yes, it can be hard at times. Sounds like her child may be special needs and that is a hard path. But that doesn't discount any of your hard moments or good moments. Not the a-hole so somehow it's your fault the hospital and birthing center you have birthed at has a relationship with a charitable organization that provides baby boxes for new mothers? And, by posting about this gift and letting people know about this organization, their good works and how much you appreciated the baby box you are somehow rubbing it in your stepsister's face. Send your stepsister a wheelbarrow, it will help her carry around the chip on her shoulder. She's ridiculous and so is her mother. Not the a-hole. Tell your dumb stepsister to vote better or start an organization of her own. It's not hard to convince people to donate money and necessities to this sort of thing. That said, for the sake of your stepsister's kid, she needs to contact her local county's Department of Human Services ASAP if she wants to get services and help with her baby. Depending on the state she can get benefits like respite care, additional therapies, subsidized healthcare, parent pay. She'd be paid to take care of her own kid, not a lot, but some to help. If your sister wasn't such a toxic person, I'd help walk her through some of these steps personally, but if you can DM me just state and county and diagnosis, if you're comfortable with that, I can write up a 1 or 2 page document that outlines some of the steps and expectations for the whole process with the specifics of staff she should be talking to, departments she needs to talk to, phone numbers, necessary paperwork, relevant charities/orgs, etc. I don't need names, cities, or anything else, nor do I want it. Just state, county, diagnosis, and I probably don't even need that third one. Next story. Am I the a-hole for calling my dad stupid after being told to use a paper towel for swimming on my period? For context, I, 15F, and my dad, 35M, have had a really good relationship for the past year or two. We've always been close, but I've had a rocky relationship with my mum, so he's been my main support system. Currently, I'm on holiday with my grandparents, younger sister, my dad and his girlfriend, for adults 2 kids including me, and I got my period. I have a really heavy flow, but I'm not yet comfortable with using tampons/cups, so I stick to pads. We were meant to be going to a water park, but with me getting my period, I obviously couldn't go. Initially, my dad was fine with this and even suggested me and him doing go-karting together, just us and my younger sister, his girlfriend and my grandparents could just go to the water park. Then a few hours later I asked my dad about the go-karting and he said that my younger sister and his girlfriend wanted him to go to the water park, so he's going there. I felt that this was unfair considering they could just go by themselves, otherwise I'll be stuck in the caravan all day when it's our last day on holiday. He then said that other people swim on their periods without tampons and his female friends, who I suspect is his girlfriend, with far more experience since they are older, use paper towels, and I could go swimming if I wanted to, I'm just choosing not to. I got upset by this because I was looking forward to doing something with him, and I also felt like he was just making out that I'm just trying to be difficult. I said the paper towel is a stupid idea, and to that he shouted at me not to call him stupid and slammed the door in my face. I've been stuck in the caravan with my nan the whole day. Me and my dad aren't talking because he said he doesn't want any more arguing. My nan, mum and friends all agree that the paper towel was a stupid thing to say, but I suspect his girlfriend was the one who suggested it in the first place, so am I the a-hole? Edit. A lot of people are saying I'm making the holiday about me and shouldn't expect my dad to cancel. I didn't expect my dad to do anything. He offered to take me go-karting, saying he would prefer to do that over the water park anyway. If he didn't want to, that's totally fine. But if that was the case, he shouldn't have waited to tell me that until 11 p.m. 12 a.m. that night, by which point it was far too late for me to arrange anything else. Also, the only reason he chose to do the water park is because his girlfriend and my sister said they wouldn't go without him, despite the fact they still could have gone just them two. Top comments. Not the a-hole. The one thing I was going to say was, did you call him stupid or the idea? Sounds like you called the idea stupid, which it is, and he took it as calling him stupid. The truth is, men are stupid about periods. I dated a guy one time who, no joke, in his late 20s, didn't know it had its own hole. He thought women only had 2 spots down there, not 3. But I digress. You will encounter much stupidity from many men about this through your life. But this time, since he's your dad, you gotta be respectful enough to remember to call his ideas stupid instead of him, lol. Edited to add, because 11 billion people have now asked me this question, sex, poo. 1, 2, 3. OP replies. I called the idea stupid, but he misheard me and slammed the door in my face before I could even correct him. Not the a-hole, and honestly, I think your dad is making it up that his female friends with more experience as they are older said this, as not one person who has actually had a period would suggest this as a viable option. The paper would literally just disintegrate if it was used like a pad, and would also disintegrate, leaving bits of paper inside if it was used like a tampon. I just wait, what? Mind exploding. Paper freaking towels? What on earth is he thinking? Just wad it up and stick it up there. He might as well suggest a cork. Look. I'm a middle-aged guy who's never had to deal with a period, and even I know that was, without a doubt, a stupid idea. You are absolutely right to tell him that, and there's a big difference between saying an idea is stupid and saying that a person is stupid. Not the a-hole. Not the a-hole. He showed just how little he understands about women's periods if he honestly suggested that you use paper towels at a water park while on one of your heavier flow days. Like, paper towels work because they absorb moisture. So what happens when you get it wet? I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, make sure like, comment, share and subscribe the channel HB Reddit Stories.